The current smartphone camera trend: add more cameras. It's a handy way to improve photography, staple on a zoom, or improve light and contrast. But there are reasons why proper cameras can still handily outperform phones. And one of those reasons is sensor size. Only one phone officially made it to our shores with a bigger sensor. That phone was the Nokia Lumia 1020. Maybe the most requested phone people asked me to revisit. Over the 4 years since the 1020's release, Windows Phone has vanished from the market, and smartphone computing power has skyrocketed. But when it comes to optics, acquiring an image, can this Oreo disc of a camera still hold up? Pitting it against a modern smartphone, Huawei is something of a spiritual successor to the Nokia of old. Partnership with a fancy camera company? Check. Using more sensor real estate to improve photo quality? Check. Comparing image sensors on a similar field of view, the larger sensor should be able to soak up more light and produce a shallower natural depth of field. The Huawei sports a faster aperture and more modern image processing algorithms. 4 years is a long time when it comes to software development like noise reduction. Spending a day shooting with both, it's worth mentioning just how much faster and smoother phone cameras are today. The 1020 was a camera which required patience when it was brand new. Rapid bursts of raw images are not an issue for a powerhouse like the Mate 10. Looking at the actual output though, the 1020 holds up refreshingly well. This has been a long-time fan favorite phone camera, and with good reason. Output has a more photographic feel, the backgrounds are softer. It's just interesting to see how trends have changed when it comes to processing JPEGs. This is before the push for crazy HDR-style color on future Windows phones like the Lumia 950. And against the Huawei, we see significant differences in philosophy for sharpening, contrast, and saturation. The Huawei's faster aperture helps make up some of the difference in depth of field, but you can't completely beat physics here. At arm's length from your subject, the effect is only subtly different, slightly smoother backgrounds. The Huawei is just a little edgier on structures behind me. The effect becomes more pronounced as we get closer to the subject. The way natural blur rolls off on the 1020 is still the prettiest I've seen from a phone. On this baseball shot, the smaller plane of focus, how objects fall off behind the ball. The chain link fence only just suggesting its structure. The 1020 shot looks worn and soft. It's more of a memory. The Huawei more aggressively highlighting the cracked paint and the age of the ball. Switching to low light, the 1020 competes remarkably well here too. Almost no light in my office, and look at this RAW file. Just for fun, this is the output from a Galaxy S5 released the year after the 1020 came out. Getting back to the modern phone, our indoor alien shot is only a small step behind the Huawei. Brute force bigger sensor, it continues to impress. Switching to the creepy tunnel though, we can see how well lens design has matured. Holy lens flare. It's a difficult comparison as the 1020 arrived with a bigger sensor, but it also produces shots with over 3 times the resolution of the Huawei. We really were beyond the limit of what this lens could properly resolve. Comparing similar crops, RAW files from the 1020 aren't retaining that much more information than the Huawei. It was a terrific buffer zone for its day, but lens design certainly improved along the way. It's been a real joy revisiting this camera. It got so much right and was one of the few phones to truly experiment with a photography-first approach to design. Well ahead of its time, it manages to hang on against significantly more powerful and refined shooters years later. It leaves me feeling a bit disappointed. Multiple camera sensors are fun, portrait modes or flexible focal length tricks, but we didn't get to see how larger camera sensors might have evolved. Likely too expensive to pursue for too little consumer benefit. Just crank the saturation and contrast and most folks will be happy how the photo looks on a phone screen. We never saw Lumia 1030 or 1050. We'll probably never see a phone sensor creep into this 2/3 inch territory again. LG, for example, backed off half-inch sensors, moving down to a 1/3 inch for the V30. And even Samsung might be going smaller with their next generation of ISO cell. Eliminating the camera bump on the rear shell of a phone is influencing the future of phone photography just as much as improving the actual camera hardware. If only Nokia and Microsoft had actually followed through on this idea, released future iterations, what we could have today with modern sensor design, deep trench isolation, dual pixel focusing, 4K video, and refinements to lens design, like a glass element from the V30. It might have been epic. As always, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to this channel for more of my vlogs and production videos, and sharing is always greatly appreciated. You can also support this channel and future videos by checking out the links in the description below. Give me a follow around the web, SomeGadgetGuy on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and I will catch you all on the next video.